Scorpio, welcome to Illuminated Tarot. My name is Jenna. Today I'm here to do a reading for you for mid-March. We're going to take a look at your recent past, your current energies, the immediate future, as well as opportunities that are coming in and what you may not see coming. I'm going to do one more shuffle. I'm reading on the actual window, we'll call it, of this blood moon lunar eclipse. Let's see what it's bringing in for you, Scorpio. I'm sure you're feeling it strongly. Myself and a lot of my friends included, there's a very, very grounding elemental theme to this moon. It's not, I don't think it's as wild and crazy as some, people might suggest. I think this is an opportunity for all of us to slow down and to reflect and really ground in your energies. So you might be feeling like you're revisiting practices that maybe you have pushed away because life got hectic or busy. You're feeling more inward. You could be going through your house, cleaning out things. These are all really common elements around this time period. Let's see what's going on for you, Scorpio. So go where you're led and guided, especially if it relates to grounding or cleansing or purifying anything in your home or in your body, in your mind. This is a beautiful time to be working on those things. Thank you, Spirit, for presiding over this reading for Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, let's see. Because it's a strong Virgoian influence with this full moon, which is very detail-oriented, having the plan. You could be planning out, mapping out the next few months. Ooh, you're entering the void. I love this. Clean slate it. Clean slate it. So this is when we go into the darkness and we're resting. You see how she's resting in the darkness? You could be feeling pulled more towards sleep. Like I said, quietude, stillness. This time period is a void period for you where you're being asked to rest, reflect. This is the dark moon. You could be really feeling the pull of the shadow, which we're all feeling this collectively. It's an honoring. It's not putting pressure on the parts of you that you may not want to look at. But you could be doing deep, deep internal purification, releasing at this time, where the older version, I was just listening to Amanda Ellis. I love her work. She was actually one of the first readers, spiritual speakers that I discovered 5 years ago on YouTube that really helped me through a dark night of the soul. So it's interesting how I'm talking about her, and that was kind of what led me to my own void. I think that we fear going inward and we fear going into our darker places of our emotions, things that we're maybe suppressing or pushing away. And I think it's important to welcome the darkness because that's where we find our own inner light. And see how she's laying here naked on the ground? So again, a call to be grounded, to rest, to release the things that maybe have been accumulating for you, Scorpio, over a long period of time around emotions that you may have been suppressing. I'm getting all that from the void. What else do we have here? Self-reflection. It's interesting. This card came out for Amanda for the eclipse. And because you have a very deep pull to the underworld and the moon, you see how the moon is in its void period here. It's the dark moon. And it's exactly what this eclipse is about. This moon is in the, it says, waning gibbous. But regardless of where the moon phase is at in the actual card, as you can see here, she's being submerged in her motions. And you're giving yourself, I feel like, Scorpio, you really need to give yourself this time period between the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, which is a several-week period, I believe. Yeah, or maybe it's a month period. I think this is a solar eclipse. Just at least the next few weeks. I'm getting my dates wrong with when the solar eclipse is. I'm not sure if it's the end of the month or mid-April. But for the next 2 to 4 weeks, I'm getting, really take this time to give yourself a lot of space and grace. I've been getting that download a lot. You all know that I'm very much Scorpio-led in my emotional landscape here. So there's this changing of the guard from your old self to your newer self, where it's time to release old ways of vibrating It's not even old ways of being. It's a whole new vibration that we need to be gentle with ourselves in releasing. It's this honoring and this recognition over the parts of ourselves that we became in older versions of ourselves in order to survive where we were, in order to experience the world through those eyes. And now I really believe, Scorpio, that you're being called to awaken to a new level of operating. And it's almost like, a shifting of identities. Some of you are taking on newer roles in your family lives, in your work lives. These feel like this is more like new spiritual eyes, where you've entered your own void, or are entering your own void, or have been in your own void, in the darkness, trying to see your way through. And now your head is popping out from the water, and you're realizing it's time for a change. It's time to release the old. It's time to purify my emotional waters, to let this moon cleanse me, wash me clean. I'm getting all of that energy. All right, let's go into the tarot. Where are we going? I'm going to go with Light Seers, because it does feel like you're coming out, a lot of you, of a period of... When I say darkness, it doesn't mean it's anything bad or negative. It's the places we go to when we are deeply communing with the parts of ourselves that the world doesn't always see. That's what I'm getting with the void here, at least for where I'm getting this energy from. It's the parts of you that you hide from others. It's the parts of you that are for you alone in spirit. And you need more of this, Scorpio. For isn't it the very moon that you were ruled by? I mean, it's the underworld, it's the subconscious, it's the hidden realms. I'm getting that you're laying a lot of armoring down at this time, and you're surrendering to how you feel in ways maybe that are uncomfortable. Are you hearing that? There's a bunch of chickadees that are having a little bit of a discussion. You could feel like you've had a lot of competing thoughts, a lot of emotions. I'm getting like a whirl, like a swirl of emotions, like when someone is stirring, lemonade or any kind of liquid, and you're stirring it and you can see the vortex. There could be some sort of emotional vortex from things that have been stirred up lately. And now you're like, but it's the movement of the old to the new. It's funny how the birds are chirping, and they're having I feel like they're kind of having a discussion here, opportunity. This is around how you give and receive energy externally. Also, they're saying it's an internal meaning as well. Are you giving and receiving energy between you and your own inner worlds? Are you spending enough time communicating with the innermost parts of you? That's what Spirit is asking of you over the next few weeks. More time for stillness, more time for reflection, more time for meditation, more time for breath work, more time to be still. Because it gives you the space and the breadth and the what I say, not breadth, right? The container to actually release the old and welcome the new. Wow, I'm getting a deeply internal. This is a very deep, Scorpio, you always take me so deep. It's like deeper than deep. What's at the bottom? Two of Wands. Yeah, you're letting go of the old. And I think you're looking out and you need to give yourself time to daydream and to allow the new to emerge. Let's see the recent past. Magician, the Sun, and the Four of Swords. Wow. Now that is some beautiful manifestation. You were called to go deep into your healing body, to rest, to nurture yourself, to grow, to heal. As you can see, she's got a needle and thread with a broken heart. And it sometimes when our heart, this is from the Three of Swords, heartbreak, into the Four of Swords. So something opened your heart up in maybe either a positive or a negative influence. When we say heartbreak, it does have a negative connotation because it's hurt. And sometimes it's not even hurt, it's loss, powerful releasing. You could have closed out some sort of chapter in your life that led to this. And it feels like what you've been working on is a very deep process of opening up to the magic of your own light through the process of deep inner transformation and healing, Scorpio. This is amazing energy that you have been immersed in. And I think that it has allowed this deeply reflective void to come through. You're making some huge strides and progress when it comes to the renewal of your spirit through the act of surrendering to spirit. I mean, that is like the card of illumination, the card of knowing that once you face parts of yourself that you were afraid of, you actually access more magic. Scorpio, this is actually profound. Where you have found yourself in the recent past. Where are you currently? I think that you've been learning what makes you happy. And what's making you happy is to rest, to relax, to renew your spirit, to replenish yourself, to do all the things that maybe you put on the back burner because you were too busy living life. This is actually going inward. I love the Four of Swords because it's when we give ourselves what we need in order to restore our energy levels, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally. And it allows you to, it's almost like you've been opening up your arms and allowing new energies to come into you that are, I feel a deeply restorative energy coming towards you that in the recent past. Now, current energy, Four of Wands, Page of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. Ooh, Scorpio, you are in such a beautiful energy the second half of March. I mean, currently, I think this is I'm rooting and grounding. I'm building things, but I'm celebrating where I'm at. It's almost like I said, with entering the void, you've done this deep inner healing work, and it's ongoing, but now you are in tune with that part of you. And this self-reflective energy of releasing the old and allowing what is new coming in, both in situationally, circumstantially, and also embodying that energetically. You're now rooted and grounded, creating more stable structures in your life. You're learning and growing, and you are going through a powerful increase of your own vitality, your own exuberance, your own excitement. I mean, this is spirited energy here with the wands. You see all the rooted color. Only can we arrive at these higher octaves of light and of excitement and passion by grounding. And I think what you've been doing is you are learning and growing in ways that are increasing your feeling of security in self, and also this amplification. Look at you see how she's sitting on this yellow chair? It's almost like your solar plexus is now rooted and grounded, and you are bringing this energy upward and out. So whatever work you've done in the past is serving your expansion currently. Some of you are taking new classes, you're designing new classes, you're teaching, you're growing, you're learning, you're reading, you're writing. All Page of Swords energy. This is the student, a student of life, and doing all these things that ground you in that and fill you up and excite you. You're taking this, it's almost like you're communing with the light. This is what I'm getting here, the infinite dance of co-creation. Some of you are designing amazing things, and it's providing a lot of stability. This is also finding excitement in your home life. Some of you are moving at this time, or you're excited about the changes in your home environment. You could be welcoming new, beings into your home, as far as pets, children. This is playful. This is laughter inside the home. This is beautiful. This is bigger energy than just your day-to-day, Scorpio, whatever you're doing. Let's see the near future. 10 of Wands. You're releasing some sort of heavy burden. You're feeling very nostalgic here in the near future. We have the 6 of Cups and the 2 of Swords. Wow. Interesting energy for the future, because it seems like in the recent past, you were called to really do some deep healing work, to find your own inner magic through the activation of your own light codes. You're currently really starting to glow in a new profound way. Doesn't mean that you were tarnished in the past, but when we do the deep inner healing work, we actually don't realize how much we are allowing more light to filter through our very being, where you're even changing in the way people perceive you and the way you perceive yourself. Like I said, give and take between you and you can move mountains between you and the world. And so I think what you're doing is you've been releasing a lot of the burdens that you've taken on. And in the near future, you're being called to do just that. Some of you have heavy burdens when it comes to being a parent, or heavy burdens when it comes to being a caretaker, or whatever has burdened you. You are coming out of that. And I think that you're at this crossroads moment for some of you around a long-term connection and what to do about it. Or a connection that you have a history around. Six of Cups is our inner child. It's also our deepest soul bonds. You're showing me that it's been a bit of a burden, some of the bonds you've had lately. And you're trying to make an important decision about that. And it could be around whether you want to give to something or let go. Maybe both, different ways. Let's clarify. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck, though. This is what you don't see coming, Scorpio. I already looked at that. Two of Wands. Okay. I forgot. And maybe you forgot. Maybe there's something you forgot here. That, life does have its share of burdens. But I think what you're starting to realize is you got to start making choices to release yourself from that feeling. Because you can only carry that for so long before you're asked to let go. So you're letting go of the past. And that's what the Six of Cups does represent, is the past. And you're coming out of maybe some confusion about where you've been and what it served and why. You're making peace with the past. A lot of people are right now. But it's been your very connections that have led you to this station. I want to get an overall higher consciousness energy around this, especially around the things that you have been encountering. Oh, that first one, I knew that was going to come out. It is. It's the card of illumination. You have a new door. And the key to that, what's interesting, it is the cover of this entire deck. I rarely pull this. This is the card of greater illumination, Scorpio. Scorpios, you all are awakening to your heart chakra. You see how it's been through. It's almost like when we have shadow work we're meant to do, right? And we go into the void and we become deeply self-reflective. We start pouring into those parts of ourselves that we ignore. Because what has been going on for you, Scorpio, and I understand this energy, is that when you have so many heavy burdens, it's almost like your light quotient, your heart chakra, is only coming through a very small fractal of light. This keyhole, right? Then you start to expand your energy and you go through that keyhole. I feel like this keyhole, this doorway, is your healing journey. And now that you have arrived at opening that doorway through the process of your own healing and awakening to your own inner divinity, you're now letting go of the past completely. And it's not just the past, it's your past self, your previous versions of self. This is everything you ever were up until this moment in this reading. You've been looking through a keyhole, right? At self. And what healing work does is you actually go through that and then you are beyond the doorway. You are beyond the confines of what our shadow puts around us. It's almost like you're breaking through an aspect of self that has kept you from really opening. And I believe you are at the threshold of probably one of your biggest breakthroughs in your own healing journey, you have no idea the brilliance that you could occupy in your day-to-day feeling of joy. You're reaching it. You're reaching it here, and you're so close, Scorpio, to a way of operating that has confounded you, that has maybe felt like it was just always within arm's reach, but you could never quite get there. You said, this is it. I'm going to go deep. I'm going to imagine what's next. You started to pierce through. It's almost like for a while, you were looking through that door, right? You know, when you look through a peephole, you only have a certain view. But you could see your heart through that peephole. And you're like, my heart is there. I know that there's this bigger part of me, a bigger version of me out there. But you had to go inward to remove the blocks that allowed you to actually get beyond the door. Not many people cross the threshold of this door in this lifetime. Not many people do. That's too scary. Because you got to face every aspect of yourself in the void. You got to face yourself in the mirror. And you have to reckon with the parts of yourself that you shamed, that you felt guilty for, that you chastised yourself for. These are things you learned in childhood, things that you are critical about. And you love them and you forgive them. And you give yourself that grace. This is incredible. It's almost like you could very well be, and this is what happens when you go through this work. You may have not seen a friend for a few years, and then you see them and they're like barely recognize you. That's where you are. That's where you're heading in this new version of yourself. I just heard 6. Some of you, this is 6 years coming. Some of you, this is 6 months coming. This is amazing. All right, let's go into clarifying. Let's clarify this 6 of Pentacles. What's interesting is I just had the most delicious piece of avocado toast and coffee this morning. Temperance and the 10 of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. This is a major abundance. This is co-creating with the universe. This is the still waters of being led and guided by intuition. This is Raphael, the Archangel's herald. You're tapping into it. You are tapping in. What's interesting is I had a piece of avocado toast before this, and but I'm still hungry. It's almost like you've had a hunger, Scorpio, and you couldn't quite put your finger on it. And that hunger, actually, you're starting to create a name for it. And I want you to think about that and hold what that name is. For some of you, it's peace. Some of you, it's self-acceptance. Some of you, it's whatever it is. Hold on to that. You were being illuminated through the void. And you're hungry you've been hungry. It's almost like there are parts of yourself that you may have starved out. And now you've been feeding those parts of yourself that have been crying out. And it's a new Scorpio. It's a new Scorpio. Let's go into this 6 of Pentacles. Okay, let me just get some more. We have the Fool in reverse, and I know exactly what they're talking about. Scorpio. We're going to talk. The Fool in reverse. Oh, man, I'm almost getting like my body is vibrating. Like, you know, we have 75 trillion cells. I feel like there's some sort of vibration is almost like that's coming in, and it's big. This is like you're looking at the wounds, the wounded self, and what has prevented you from being happy. And I think it's the denial of taking risks. It's time to take a new risk, Scorpio. And I think for some of you, it's simply the risk of actually taking a look at these wounds and going as deep as you possibly can and finding that source, which many of you don't know this, but I actually changed my name, much like Native Americans do over time. My actual last name, Fontaine, came from a deep desire in my early 20s to change the way I looked at my life, that we are a wellspring of love and light. And and every time I hear Fontaine, it's me reaching for the source energy within me, my soul self. And I think the reason why I'm talking about this is that when I look at the Fool in reverse, it's for some reason, Scorpio, you start looking at taking risks in life as foolish because of the wounding. Oh, I'm not going to do that. No way. I don't want to. I'm not. And you know why we do it? Fear of failure, fear of our own greatness, fear of happiness. And you look at me and go, I'm not afraid of happiness. But are you actually taking a risk to be vulnerable to find that happiness? You know how much of a risk it was for me to even change my name? Did I piss off my family? Yes. But I did what was best for me. And there's something that I'm seeing here where you need to start doing things that are best for you, Scorpio. And I know a lot of you are different. You know, this is the thing about general readings, is that everyone is on a different place in this timeline that I'm reading for. This is a timeline of self-actualization, self-realization, self-reflection through going into the void and finding your own inner light. But I'm also looking at what has prevented you from going as deep as you possibly could to awaken to a new way of being. We have to go into the darkness. And you're saying, but I think that's shifting now. You've been afraid to take a risk because you got hurt so many times that you shut down. Oh, boy, I can relate to this. We're like, no. And see, this is the thing. What have your recent experiences, what have the experiences you've had in the last year taught you? If you've had a lot of false starts or a lot of this is barely getting off the ground and then it's over, or, you know, if you just feel like you are open, but you're having experiences where you're finding people that are closed, there's something that Spirit is wanting you to take a look at. For some of you, it's a big aha. Others of you, it's like that final piece to go, oh, yeah, I get it. So this Fool in reverse, it's fear of getting hurt. Fear of taking a risk. Well, what if it fails? Well, because are you clouding your openness with a feeling of closed offness and you don't even realize it? Because you're afraid to give to the parts of yourself that believe in happily ever after, that believe in happiness, fulfillment. This is family life, family fulfillment. 10 of Cups. It's almost like you're so close to true, genuine joy, especially when it comes to your deepest bonds, than you even really think. Because it's fear of getting hurt. And I do know that sometimes it's the fear that closes us off, but then we don't allow the right things in. Let me keep going. I think that there's a missing piece. And that's the thing too, is whatever has kept you from taking risks or being vulnerable when it comes to opening up and feeling it, right? If you feel like your senses have been dulled or you haven't felt like yourself, Scorpio, it's because you've needed to take a look at the parts of yourself that were trying to survive, but then you reach a point where when you start going inward, it's not about survival anymore. It's about self-regulation. It's about self-soothing. And then you start to feel more and more vulnerable to self. So if you've been getting a lot of missed opportunities lately or things that haven't been aligning for you, where are you fearful? Where are you? Where did someone tell you? Where did you get too much data around you not either being worthy of happiness or that it's too big of a dream, it's not possible for me? Because the 10 of Cups is dreamy energy. And listen, it's not fixed, but it's something that we can access. And you're looking at it. Look at it. You're looking at it. And you're like, I don't know if that's possible. I just don't know. And you know what? Furthermore, I sure as hell am not going to open up. Because every time I have, look where it's got me. And then Spirit's like, well, you got to clean that up, Scorpio. That's going to need some healing. I'm going to go into this one card in this past energy. Star. We have a star. You have a wish, Scorpio. What are you doing about it? What is this wish? Well, you're showing me it's happiness, and Spirit's like, you got to take a risk. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that because it's just, I'm going to get hurt. God, I understand this so well. I do. But you know what? Do you look at a child who's in full-on play mode and they're doing crazy things and you're like, oh my God, they're going to get themselves hurt. But they are so in that vibe, in that sense of playful expansion. They're not afraid. You tell me a 2-year-old that's afraid of anything. Let's go into this current energy. What are you learning about your own desires? Magician, you are manifesting so much. Scorpio, oh, you're getting it. I love it when I see this Page of Pentacles. I'll tell you what. All right. I'm getting it. Scorpio, this is great. This is amazing. Clarifying the Page of Swords, the Four of Wands, and this Queen of Wands. All of this passion, right? The pursuit of passion. I feel like we've got the Magician twice. Talk about magic. This is magical thinking. After being so hurt and wounded that you stop being vulnerable to your own self. If you're not vulnerable with the deepest parts of you and acknowledging all of it and loving it and accepting self, you will reject things outside of you by proxy. Only through accepting all the parts of you will you find ultimate fulfillment and happiness. And I see that you're like, wait a minute. Okay. Page of Pentacles is putting a plan in motion. Magician is, I'm seeing it through. And Strength is, I'm actually going to continue to face my fears. You're facing some sort of fear around commitment and vulnerability, Scorpio. Big time. In ways that I think you're going to do something that scares you. But I think and this could be anything, you all. I'm not going to speculate. It's going to be different for all of you. Some of you, it's applying for that dream job and actually trusting that it could happen for you, or putting yourself out there on social media in ways you've never done, taking that class, whatever is like getting out of your comfort zone, Scorpio. It could even be around communicating with someone that you've been afraid to talk to, or you don't want to look like a fool. But you know what? Sometimes the most amazing things happen when we're ready to just risk it. Who is it? I forgot who I was reading for already. Maybe it was Sagittarius, or it was Risk It for the Biscuit. It's like sometimes you got to do it. I want to go into this future energy. Y'all, I'm just taking my time with you today. 333. 3333. 3. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's something going on here. I think you're going to make some sort of decision to heal something and bring it back together again. I don't know who this is involving. 3 of Cups is my let's celebrate, let's get together. It could be a new connection coming in that is replacing an old connection leaving, or it could be a reconciliation with a friend or a community. We have the 3 of Cups, the 4 of Swords, and the Sun. This is also unifying the parts of yourself that you've kind of left behind. This feels like deep, deep soul retrieval work, Scorpio, where there's this celebration of releasing the burden of something that's been in your life a long time. Some of you, it's letting go of a career, letting go of old baggage. Old baggage. 10 of Wands is, you know what? You don't need that bag anymore, Scorpio. It could be limiting beliefs. It could be subconscious programming. It's around the people that support you as well. So I feel like you're taking a risk to open up to something that you know could make you happy, but you're scared. We have the Sun here in the past. It's almost like you aligned with something that you really, really wanted, but you needed some healing work first. I don't know when this future scenario is going to take place here. I'm feeling like some of you, this isn't imminent. It could be months from now, could be weeks from now, but there is healing that is going to happen for you and someone in your life. It feels like somebody, maybe you had a falling out with them, but you needed time. You're looking here at the future. This is also some of you co-creating with groups of people, bringing together. You know what's interesting is, what's fascinating is the only pinnacle at all, is the Page of Pentacles. At all. So this is very dreamy energy where you're taking your emotions and your mind and your spirit and it's everything's in flux. It feels like you're choosing a different timeline than you've been on, and you're taking that conscious leap to look beyond the keyhole, the confines of what you thought was possible for you. But it's requiring you to be vulnerable and to take a stand for what you want in your life, Scorpio. I think you're going to do something shocking, that you're going to surprise yourself. I'm not sure what it is. Like I said, you are going to have to figure that one out, but it's going to require truth. It's going to require vulnerability. It's going to require strength. It's going to require courage. What's this Two of Wands? Six of Cups. This is about a person now. I'm seeing it's someone with water placements that you've had fighting with. Five of Swords. This is what you don't see coming. Whoa. The High Priestess came out in reverse. There's some sort of denial of... Scorpio, what is going on here? You or somebody else is not honoring your intuition. I'm getting a heaviness in your heart, Scorpio, that you're burying, and Spirit's like, you got to take a look at what you're burying, because this is going to haunt you later. If you are stuffing anything, this eclipse is going to show it to you. And you're like, no, eyes closed, not going to look at it, ignoring it. I think too, as it relates to yourself and what you don't see coming, you have in order for you to see your future optimistically with hope and faith, you got to start honoring your intuition, Scorpio. You got to go in there. You got to trust it. You got to make peace with the parts of yourself that you are in denial about, or someone around you is. It's something deep. This feels like something karmic, because we have the Six of Cups here twice. We've got a lot of major arcana peppered throughout. I mean, the Fool in reverse and your opportunity. It's almost like with the Nine of Wands and the Ten of Cups, it's like when people allow their wounds to deny themselves their own fulfillment and happiness, and they're too afraid to open themselves up towards anything and everything they could ever want, because they have work to do. They have work to do. And I think you're showing me that you're doing it. You're doing something put you on this path. This reminds me of something that happened to me about 5 years ago. It's funny how I started out this reading with Amanda Ellis, because this happened to me 5 years ago. I had something that ripped me open karmically in a connection that put me on this path. And I did not want to go there. I wanted to be mad at that person forever and ever and ever. It's their fault. And blame. They did this, they did that, And then I got tired of the victimhood of that and the story of that. And then I started to realize, wait a minute, I was the one that co-created that. I need to start taking a look at what did I allow? Why did I even do that? And so I do feel, Scorpio, some of you have been on this journey as well, and you're in the final vestiges of that, and you're celebrating too. What I see here too, the reason why I brought that up is Spirit's like, don't forget this. Celebrate. For those who've been doing deep, deep healing work, where you were letting guided, because you're like, this is it. I want to align with my star energy. which is having hope and faith on the path. Some of you are just beginning this journey. Some of you are in the middle of this journey. And some of you are culminating in a culmination point, karmic point of, I did it. It's time to celebrate. I did the healing work. I dropped the burden. I went deep into my inner child. I came out of my own spiritual amnesia and I have found the light. And it's like, like when you reach these places, you are illuminated. You're no longer looking at your life and life at large through a keyhole. Because when we get wounded, it's like the energies compress. It compresses you. It's like pressure. And then when you really start to awaken, it's what the cocooning is for. And everything you see in nature, there must be darkness in order to expand. So go into the void, folks. You will be surprised. You may be sitting here 2 years from now going, thank God I listened to that call. And your healing work is never done, but you certainly get there. This is about rebuilding your life, Scorpio, from the ground up. And a lot of you have been doing that work. And a lot of you are in the middle of that process. So don't give up. Don't give up, okay? Do not give up. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on people. See the best in everything. I do think, though, that you are denying yourself some sort of inner truth. And you're looking out at it and you're saying, I don't know if I should put my hand in that jar. There's something deeply about facing fears in this reading. I'm not sure exactly what, but there's some sort of facing of fears. A facing of being afraid, of being vulnerable, of looking like a fool, of putting yourself out there in some regard, whether it's in personally or professionally. You're facing it. This is your advice. The High Priestess upright. The Emperor upright. And the Queen of Wands upright. Yes. This is about your own empowerment to live a passionate life, Scorpio. You're Scorpio. This is beautiful. Your advice is to honor your intuition, to make peace with your darkness, to go into the void and love it. I love the darkness. To find your own feeling of power again, to be empowered through the elevation of your light, through your own inner knowing, and this is my, spirit song card. So I think that you are making peace with your divine masculine. This is when we become hypervigilant and we realize, oh my God, I am walled. And what's really fascinating is that I'm just going to be quite personal with you. Why not? I'm feeling very open today on this full moon. This person that broke me open 4 or 5 years ago was a Scorpio. And we connected earlier this year, and the energy was so different. And I was so elated and excited to see this person's growth. I was just floored because I knew, when you're dealing with an energy that is closed off to themselves, that doesn't even know who they are because they've been going through the world trying to cope with their life, being someone they're not. And then you start to go deep inside of yourself and then you realize who you are and you fortify that. And through small decisions, the millions of decisions we make every year, the minutia do we grow. The little decisions that you make every day to fortify you, to stand in your own power. But it's a gentle power because this is the feminine and the masculine. And living a passionate existence. No holds barred, Scorpio. No holds barred. So just know that I never thought this person would change. To kid you not, never, ever, ever did I think this person would grow and change in the ways that they did. In the ways that they have. And I'll tell you what, we're no longer in connection, but it was enough to have this healing moment. And some of you might be having a healing moment with someone from your past that led you down your path of healing. I'm saying all this for a reason. Because you might be wrapping up this cycle where you had a karmic contract with someone. Both got deeply, deeply wounded by it. And you shut down for a time. And you both went inward. And then you're given the benefit of that grace of time passing and two people doing the work. Our story doesn't end with us coming back together again. That was never the point. It was me finding myself. So honor the people in your life that take you deeper into you, because it's all for the greater good. Even when someone hurts you, the Three of Swords leads to the Four of Swords. And then the Five of Swords, which is coming out of that internal conflict and accepting self. Listen to your intuition, Scorpio. Honor that part of you. Take risks. I trust in my power to break cycles. That's it right there. You're breaking the cycle, Scorpio, whatever it was. Oh my God, this was a huge reading, and why these mid-monthlies have been so important and why I've gone so long with them. Most of them have been 35 to 45 minutes. You are breaking cycles. You are breaking cycles, Scorpio. I love it. I'm so stoked for you. I am so stoked for you. Let's get a final pull. This is by way of Denise Lynn. I love her nature-inspired deck. Final card for Scorpio Spirit. Well, this one's taking a minute to come out. There it is. Manifesting dreams. See, you had to do some healing work to actually... This is when we have a hard time receiving what's meant for us. I think that you called it in, but you didn't want to reach for it because you're like, no, it's not for me. I don't deserve it. I can't receive it. And then you start to do enough healing work and you realize, wait a minute, I am worthy and deserving. I'm going to break the cycle. They want me to read the back of this cycle card. Then we'll read Water Spirit Manifesting Dreams. And look at that. Some of you, this is lifelong partnership dream. Sea otters mate for life. You're doing deep, deep healing work, so you can call in. Some of you, if you are lacking a life partner or you're on the outs with a life partner, y'all, I'm going to laugh here because I have a Pomsky who's on a chair she never lays on. It's like a Papazon thing. And she is got the light hitting her and she just rolled over on her back. So this is about being vulnerable with self, being vulnerable with others. And you might be surprised what light comes in by being open and vulnerable. We have, you have the power to do things differently. True deep healing occurs when you decide that certain behaviors are no longer welcome in your life. It takes practice to access that power, to cultivate it each and every day. Today, stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes and say, I trust in my power to break cycles. I remember my power by ... You are breaking cycles. You are remembering your power through the divine feminine and your intuition, learning how to attune to your own vibration daily so you can manifest your dreams. All right, number 46, 10. You're at a new beginning, Scorpio. I love it. I love it. Your dreams can come true, truly. However, there are a few steps necessary for this to occur. First, believe that you deserve it. Know that you are worthy. You are. Act as if your dreams had already come true. Move your body like someone whose desires have manifested. Most important, you must also take action in the direction of your dreams. This is not the time to sit around and passively wait for things to turn out. That's the thing. You got to take action. This is not taking a leap because you're too scared, Scorpio. But if you give to it, it will give to you and you will reach the eureka of fulfillment. So take the risk. Take the risk. Go online, date. Call that person you have a crush on. This is a Carpe Diem call to action, Scorpio, if I ever saw one. All right. Give deeply and fully of who you are, for the more that you give, the more that you will receive. Allow your emotions and feelings to flow. Don't repress or suppress the truth of your soul. As you focus on gratitude for what you already have, more joy and abundance will grow in your life. Water energy traditionally represents your feelings and emotions. As in all things, too much emotion can be depleting and too little emotion can be draining. When your emotion flows as clearly as a mountain stream, then you're at a pivotal time to distinctly state your intentions and dreams, and the forces of the universe will answer and support your dreams coming true. The spirit of water says water flows in cycles, and right now you're in a cycle of manifesting your dreams. Don't stop the flow by doubting or hesitating. Allow your emotions the freedom to be expressed. Timing is everything, and right now is your time, Scorpio. Wow. Whatever dream you're trying to manifest, whether it be a enduring long-term commitment, a new professional endeavor, a family healing moment, an inner child breakthrough in your healing journey, deeper connection with your inner high priestess, finding more peace on the path, Scorpio, this is your time to do it. Okay? I'm sending you so much love. What a gorgeous reading. Namaste.